Hi, this is Tom Chittum, broadcasting from Puerto Rico as usual. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm going to talk about tanks and artillery and what's going on in Ukraine. Basically, the current situation is this. It's turned into an artillery war. Most of the soldiers on both sides that are being killed by artillery. Why? Well, they sit all day shooting artillery at each other. And may I add, at this point, for every one the Ukrainians can shoot, the Russians can and do shoot 40, or at least that's the estimate provided to us by the Ukrainian government, who is paying for artillery shells. Okay. Anyway, so what happened to the tanks? Remember, like in World War II with the Battle of the Bulge and all that? Well, basically, they didn't really get their ass kicked, but they don't have an easy game of it like they did in World War II. In the old school, ideal tank country was flat open ground like the Russian steppe. Why? Because the tanks could close the distance between their lines and the enemy lines very quickly. The guys who were trying to stop them with anti-tank guns, they had like the German 88, which was a great anti-tank gun, but there were very few of them because they are huge and expensive to manufacture, and they have to be towed around by their own vehicle and manned by about, I don't know, a 5 or 6 man crew, whatever. But now, things are different. It's as if both sides could manufacture 88s, about the size of a microwave, and throw them in the back of a Jeep, 5 or 6 or 7 of them. Today's anti-tank weapons with as good or better anti-tank qualities as the German 88 cannon are, they're just plain cheap. And they don't weigh much. One man can pick one up, put it on his shoulders, and aim it and shoot it. So these days, when a bunch of tanks comes across no man's land with the idea of knocking out everybody there, they're going to face a lot more firepower than the tanks of World War II did. In fact, it's going to be more analogous to World War I, where the infantry coming across no man's land were just mowed down by machine guns. Well, today, the tanks, instead of the infantry, are not being mowed down by machine guns, they're being mowed down by cheap anti-tank weapons that can kill at a very long distance and seldom miss. The advantage lies with the anti-tank guns because there's so many of them, they can just flood the zone. There's no easy way for the tanks to get through. If you want to lead your tanks on a spearhead through the enemy line, it's going to be a slaughter, and you can do it because the tank's always going to win in the end, probably. But they've been paying a high price. Now, the Russians have stopped doing that. Why? They're tired of paying the high price. They want to turn it into an artillery war because that's where their advantage lies. And, by the way, the Ukrainians no longer have the option of charging across no man's lands in a horde of tanks and armored personnel carriers. They've all been shot to pieces. They just can't put it together anymore. Anybody who says different isn't paying attention. Okay, so there we have it. That's what's going on. What the Russians are doing these days, their basic strategy down the Donbass, is just to shell and shell and shell and shell and shell and shell and shell the primary Iranian trench and clear that out. Then they shell and shell and shell and shell and shell. They don't care if it takes weeks, days, months. They just one trench line at a time. They just slaughter everybody there. Then they send out infantry squads, very carefully, to check and see if everybody's dead. If not, they just shell and shell and shell some more. And if everything works, so they run the tanks up there and and shoot at the surrendering Ukrainians or retreating Ukrainians, as the case may be. I don't blame those Ukrainians for hoovering it either. They don't have a chance. They're laying in these freaking open trenches with no overhead cover, no effective overhead cover. Some of them have a little bit of overhead cover, but most have none at all. And they're just slaughtered. They may as well be lying out in an open field. A couple months ago, it wasn't like that. They were still in their primary trench line that had spent 6 or 8 years building. And it was like a German trench line in World War I. There was plenty of safe places to duck into when the enemy started shelling. Okay, well, that's what's going on now. How long is that going to go on? This isn't really even a war anymore. It's just a mass slaughter. The ones who are being mass slaughtered are Ukrainians. they're refusing to show up for duty, they're running for their lives, they're surrendering in individuals or small groups, or sometimes, like in Mariupol, 1,000 men at a time. Although I haven't seen anything bigger than a platoon surrender since Mariupol. But anyway, that's what's going on with them, and they're complaining on social media that they're not getting any food. One unit was down to 1 potato a day. I mean, per man, not just for the whole platoon. It'd be fun to get some potato. And what else going on? Everything that can go wrong is going wrong with the Ukrainian side. I can't list them all in this video. I'll have to list them later. But for now, I want the reader to understand that the Russians are just slowly strangling and slaughtering the whole Ukrainian army in the Donbass. It's so one-sided, it's pathetic. It's not even a war. It's like some kind of slaughter in the Colosseum. And the Russians get to be lions. It's that lopsided, it really is. Okay, this is a test to see if I can stay halfway sober. And upload this thing. How long have I been recording? I don't even know. Oh, 6 minutes and 31 seconds. Oh yeah, before I go, the real war is basically over in the Ukraine, and the media war, the political war is over too. Henry Kissinger, the head lizard, blood-sucking, adrenochrome drinking freak of the New World Order has officially declared it to be so. Even the Pope is against this war. Mamma mia, the Pope, you know I like the war. And who else? The frogs are jumping ship. Most of our NATO pals are jumping ship. They don't want to give the Ukrainians free stuff anymore because they know where half of it's going into some black market somewhere, and they'll wind up with some Arabs trying to blow them away. The whole thing's a bloody mess. And let's see. That's about it for now. Okay, the real ground war is basically coming to an end. The media war is being drawn down. Everybody's throwing Ukraine under the bus. It's spreading. Okay, catch you later.